After that, we're going to see if we can find some dinner at a town that is a little bit less known than a lot of the others here in New York City. We are Passion Fruit Travel, and today we are in the beautiful, magnificent New York City. And we are going to see what we can do here in 24 hours and on a budget, and hopefully free. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Mark. A while ago, when my work contract ended, I decided to just drop everything to make plans to travel the world. And that plan is actually happening right now. Welcome to the neighborhood. This is Harlem, and we're just staying in one of these brownstones here. Now we are headed over to Central Park. It is one of the free things that you can do here in New York City. Welcome to Central Park. No matter whether you're in Central Park or not, you're always reminded that you're in the city. There are sirens going off, you hear cars in the background, but it is still a nice little refuge, especially I imagine if you live here.
Angela Shakespeare. Fun fact, I slept on here. I took a quick nap back in college when I took a Chinatown bus from DC to New York, you know, just for a weekend, for New Year's weekend specifically. So the Chinatown bus got us here at 4 a.m. and we're still sleepy because everything was closed back then and we just come up here. I do not recommend. It was a good cinema. So yeah, we are getting up to the Belvedere Castle, one of the landmarks here in Central Park. Let's go.
Originally this was just built as kind of a fancy lookout back in the 1800s, but now it serves as New York City's meteorological observatory. Normally I associate those with kind of higher altitudes, but yeah, I guess this is where they keep an eye on the weather officially. So right behind me they do things like Shakespearean plays. Could be a really cool experience. We are here on Bow Bridge, which is a major landmark here in Central Park. It almost has a 360 feel to it because you really see all of the giant skyscrapers of New York all around you. There are skyscrapers on that side behind me, and then also across this little lake that they have in the park.
Every year there's a new skyscraper being built in New York City and it is about to be completed.
You may be wondering how big Central Park is, and it is over 800 acres. And just to give you a sense of how big that is, it's about 700 football fields. So it is a big park, but New York City is a big city.
Behind me is probably the most iconic landmark in Central Park. It's the Bethesda Terrace. Even though you don't know it, but you can see at some point in movies where people film here. Like so many movies is filmed here. Like a lot of street artists, street musicians come and perform here. And you know there's a lot of musicians here. New York City is home of Symphony, New York Symphony, the musical theater, and New York City Ballet. So not only the financial hub and also the cultural hub of the world. So yeah, you can see some talented musicians here performing. I mean, you can hear the music. I think that's Mozart. One of those. You can really feel a little bit at peace in this big city. You feel a little bit calmer. Even though the next stop we're gonna go is Fifth Avenue.
As long as you don't buy any of the luxury goods, Fifth Avenue is free.
Now, Fifth Avenue has some of the most famous luxury brands, but interspersed in between all of these luxury shops are some magnificent churches, the most famous of which is St. Patrick's Cathedral, which has a special place in New York City history. Right now it is just beautiful inside, and they kindly let people just from off the street to walk in. The church itself, even though it's kind of a mix between the busy, frantic streets and people that are coming here to pray and sit quietly, there is a special feeling in the church, and it's also kind of cool to see all different types of people.
So now we are in Chinatown. So the metro stop that gets to Chinatown is Canal Street. So we just came from Fifth Avenue, where we saw so many luxury brands. So in Chinatown, what is known for is you can find so many knockoff brands, like knockoff Chanel, knockoff Gucci. They are not legal to be sold in the US. So, but also you can find so many random things in Chinatown. But a lot of locals come here for the food. You can get so many good dim sum or Chinese food here in Chinatown. So this is one of the oldest Chinatown in the US.
Now, food is one thing you're going to have to pay for when in the city, but it is still possible to eat out on a budget.
What are you thinking about here?
So I mean, there's so many places, and this looks packed. So one of the things we try to do when we go to places that we're not familiar with is we look if there's people in or not. So typically, if there's more people, that means the restaurant could be good, and it's a bit off the main street. So we're gonna have some dim sum as a little snacks before we have real dinner. So come with us. The restaurant called New Shanghai.
This is the one that Oth wants to show you.
Specific to Shanghai. It is essentially a soup dumpling. So inside this dumpling is soup. It's hot though, so you bite into it.
Be careful.
It's gonna burn. Unique to Shanghai. I don't know how to eat it though, but here we go.
You can see the liquid in there.
Delicious when it's cold, because it's like have a soup inside a dumpling. And for cold weather like today is about 50 degrees. That's why we come to this restaurant. See how it feels, yes.
This is the first I've had this, and it's going to be a mess, you guys. I have a way of making these things into a bigger mess than they need to be, but at least I can taste the broth here. It gets easier to eat once it's cooled down because you can actually just pop the entire thing in your mouth. It's a whole other experience. The broth and the meat all mixed together as it's supposed to. So yeah. Yeah, that's really nice. Now I am standing in Chinatown, but right behind me is Little Italy. And as you may know, New York has attracted people from all over the globe. And it's only in New York you can have this interesting mix with so many different people living so close within this little metropolitan area.
So yeah, most of the time what you don't see on Instagram is that a lot of times you're just walking on the bridge, a pathway, and then you get to a spot where you can take photos. So which we're gonna show you where is the spot, and then you take photos and then you walk back down. So that is the Brooklyn Bridge. So now we are on the Brooklyn Bridge. You can see so many people taking pictures, and it's just now become an Instagram famous landmark, you can say.
It looks like they're doing some kind of construction project, so they're detouring us around here, but don't despair. There is an open spot over here, and we should get a good view of the Statue of Liberty.
So now we are at Battery Park. So this is a place in New York City where you can see Statue of Liberty on land. So we just walk from Brooklyn Bridge through the financial district.
It's strange to think how one event can impact the lives of so many, but that is what happened on 9/11. I know it's kind of a distant memory, but it is one of those events that you always remember the place where you found out that it happened. I don't think I fully understood at that point in time, like how much the world was going to change because of that event. Yeah, so it's interesting to be here at the World Trade Center Memorial and to just kind of remember something that happened so long ago and when I was so young, and to think about all of the ripple effects of that day. We've seen everything that we're going to see down here in Lower Manhattan, and now we're going to head back up to Upper Manhattan and check out the Empire State Building. It is free to walk outside of the Empire State Building. The Empire State Building was built during a difficult time in American history. It was the Great Depression, people were struggling, but somehow they decided to take on this enormous project, and ultimately it would become the tallest building in the world for a time. Kind of teaches us that even though we might be going through a dark period in our lives, that doesn't mean we can't tackle big projects in our own lives and take on bold dreams that we have for ourselves.
Here we are in Koreatown. So people don't know much about this, but it's a little 2 block in New York City that have a lot of Korean restaurants. So it's called Koreatown. It's right by the Empire State Building.
To make it overshadowed just because it's so close to the Empire State Building, nobody thinks to ask what else is around here.
You stop at Koreatown and have dinner, right? And before we go to Times Square. So people don't hear about this neighborhood that much. Korean barbecue is one of the preferred option, but we are on a budget, so we don't spend $50 or $60 per person for Korean barbecue. So we're looking for more standard Korean food.
We're trying to decide how legit this place is. It's kind of weird.
I don't see it pop up.
You didn't see it pop up?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they say that there's a kitchen. Is this the 3rd floor? I think this is the 3rd floor. Don't want to be doing karaoke. There's a real restaurant up here.
So it's the house special. It's spicy pork barbecue with some scallion. It's delicious.
This ramen, which is a brisket ramen, tomato based. What would you say makes the ramen fancy or special?
Nothing.
Brisket.
This is Korean. It's a
just
standard Korean
style.
ramen style. It's not ramen, it's ramjun.
Yeah.
So this Korean noodle soup, ramjun. And then the squid. The squid, look at the whole squid. We always love squid. When we can, we always get a whole grilled squid with some dip sauce. It's always delicious.
Always like squid because of the chewy texture. It's weird.
Comfort food. It's delicious, spicy, and like savory, just like comfort food. Here you go.
Now we are headed toward Times Square. How could you come to New York and not make your way through Times Square one way or another? And so that is what we are doing. I
Literally walk about 15 minutes from Koreatown to Times Square. So there's like a good dinner option if you want something different for, when you come and visit New York City.
So I feel like the thing that I'm noticing here is that any major company that wants to have street cred will have like something in Times Square. Or if you have like any kind of major pop culture that you're trying to promote, movies, TV shows, cartoons, this is also the place you want to have your like footprint.
So yeah, we are in Times Square. It's been like 5 years since I've been here, and no matter what, it still feels the same. It's like that energy of and the light and people. It's always feel this vibrance where the whole world come for this little spot. So we are back at our Airbnb. So we spent over 11 hours out the whole day. And to do everything we do today is free, except food. Food is not free.
This is not just our last night in New York, it's our last night in the US. And we are getting ready to go to a whole other part of the world, a part that is a little bit more familiar to Oth, a little less familiar to me, and we're just really stoked to be able to actually make this happen.
So until next time, click like and subscribe to see more videos. Pearl leaving the US, our last night in our last hour in the US. We are boarding the longest flight. How do you feel?
Amazing. I think I'm still running on adrenaline. We'll see how we're feeling tomorrow, but this is exciting.
I know I'm panicking a little bit, but not as real panic, like fun panic. 18 hours, ooh.